So I've just been to the grocery store and I am starting the anti-inflammatory diet today with my husband David, and I have just spent an hour and a half at the grocery store, and I'm a dietitian and I kind of have an idea. I cook a lot, I buy healthy foods, I have some knowledge about nutrition and label reading, and I will tell you this was really hard. It took me a long time. I've done gluten-free in the past for 9 months. That was easier than what I just did because I just had to look for gluten and find substitutes. But here I was looking for 3 main things. I'm avoiding oils that are high in oleic fatty acids, omega-6s. So I was reading labels, and boy, I had no idea how many bad fats I was using just in everyday products. And I cook a lot from scratch, but still just making some tweaks and looking for labels that didn't have this. Boy, I really had to have a big search. And then I'm looking for unprocessed lean proteins, no red meats, fish, chicken, turkey, things like that, which was easy. But then also looking at some convenience items, which the idea of anti-inflammatory is really to cook from scratch, really to not use any processed foods at all. I promote this to a lot of my clients, a lot of the families I work with. I think I do that for the most part. I was shocked at how many shortcuts I actually take when I had to buy food to make meals for the week. So I'm gonna go through some things that I thought were helpful. First of all, looking at fruits and vegetables, obviously packaged salad is gonna be a big convenience item. It's already washed, it's ready to go. I'm supposed to be adding a lot of fruits and vegetables into my diet, so I bought a packaged salad. This one's spinach and spring mix. Berries were on sale. I bought a ton of berries. We're supposed to be eating dark fruits for a lot of different colors and nutrients. We have dark berries, blueberries, strawberries, cherries. I bought plums, which I don't like, but David does. Those are high in polyphenols. I bought peaches because I do like them. And then for our veggies, I grabbed some broccoli, but right now my garden is full of tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers, so I didn't actually end up buying a whole lot of vegetables today. But so that was the produce. And then I bought onions, sweet potatoes, ginger. Ginger's something you add in the anti-inflammatory diet. I do cook with it sometimes, but not that often. But I just recently found out that if you peel the ginger and scrape it with a spoon and pre-portion it, you can freeze it. So that's what I'm gonna do, because normally I wouldn't buy a piece this big, but I'm gonna be trying to use it more, so I'm just gonna freeze little portions of it so that I can make it last. And on this anti-inflammatory diet, it's kind of controversial. Some people say avoid gluten. Some people say wheat is okay as long as it's whole grain and no flours. I think that in all the research I did, I decided that we would try and avoid gluten as much as possible, but I'm going to be hungry. I'm an athlete. I exercise a lot. I need some healthy carbs. So I did buy a big bag of these delicious yellow potatoes. These are my favorite. They're good roasted. They're good made into like a mashed potato, whatever. And I bought sweet potatoes, which maybe we do like, but we don't eat as much, but we're gonna need some calories. So I did do that, and I actually bought a big bag of sweet corn, which we do eat some, but that'll be an extra carb, which normally maybe we'd have French bread with a meal, and we won't, so I'm gonna do corn. But then the question was, with the oil thing, I'm trying to avoid omega-6s. It also said, some sources said avoid saturated fats, some said saturated fats, it's okay. It was kind of controversial, so I, of course, being a dietitian, overthought it, and I did some research on different oils and chain lengths. And it turns out that even though butter is saturated fat, it's actually very low in omega-6s. So then I started thinking, I really like butter. It's a pretty natural food. What am I gonna do here? I am gonna include some cheeses and some yogurt. I bought plain because we're not using added sugar. But then I stood in the butter aisle for probably a good 15 minutes looking at all these plant-based butters, and this was really shocking. So I looked at the butters, like, for example, I can't believe it's not butter, which had a bunch of different varieties, including one that said with olive oil, but I turned it over, and the first ingredient was canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, and all these butters, which are all high in omega-6s. So it's kind of tricky that they all said with olive oil. I had to stand there for a long time. I looked at all the butters, all the vegan butters. I looked at the earth balance butters, the avocado oil ones, the olive oil ones. All of them were mostly omega-6 oils, mostly soybean oil and canola oil. So I decided I wasn't going to use any artificial butter. That was bad. And in the end, I settled on this, which is actually real butter with olive oil added. So real butter, this is like still 60% butter, but it's a little bit lower. And olive oil is actually very low in omega-6s, so that cuts that a little bit in terms of getting some healthy fats in there. I'm gonna try it on my corn. I don't think I can do the corn without the butter, so we'll see. If I can't do it, I'm just gonna revert back to good old-fashioned organic butter and deal with it. And the other thing was the mayonnaises, because for the anti-inflammatory diet, I'm gonna be eating more fish. So I bought a lot of canned tuna, which I can't eat without mayo. Chunk light, the albacore is higher in mercury. Actually, the cheaper light tuna is healthier. So this is the chunk light tuna, but I have to mix it with something. I can't do it plain, it's just not in me. So I stood in the mayonnaise aisle about as long as I stood in the butter aisle, and I looked at all the mayos, and I looked at the olive oil mayo and the avocado oil mayo, and I saw the same thing was most of them were still soybean oil, canola oil, some other high omega-6 oil, until I found on the very top shelf 2 varieties of avocado oil mayo that were really just avocado oil and not other things. Of course, this tiny little jar was $9, but the ingredients were simply avocado oil, eggs, vinegar, sea salt, and rosemary. And I figure this probably as good as I can get, and it'll help me eat my tuna. So again, like I said, we have to make some cuts and some compromises. On that topic, another compromise, we're avoiding flours, but this is, but we are using whole grains, and we're avoiding wheat, but this is whole grain oats. It doesn't say oat flour. It is a Cheerio. You've probably all seen Cheerios before, and they are smooth. So I have a feeling that this is deceptive advertising, and it may really be made with whole grain oat flour, not just whole grain oats. However, again, I need some quick options, and this is going to be a shortcut. I didn't buy the honey nut because it has added sugars, just the good old-fashioned plain. Other starches, I bought some oat bran. That's easy for a hot cereal in the morning. We'll also be doing oatmeal. And again, because I'm going to be hungry, I need some carbs, but I'm avoiding wheat, and I didn't want to use a real processed gluten-free pasta, because what's the point of that if we're trying to avoid processed, because all the gluten-free ones that are marked gluten-free are like rice and a bunch of other processed flours. So we are going to do these bean pastas. This one's new. This one I've had before. It's really good. Banza, it's made from chickpea. This one my family likes. This I just saw today. This is also made from chickpea, but it's by Barilla, so I guess Barilla's trying to keep up. And the Barilla chickpea is cheaper than the Banza chickpea for the same portion. This one actually has almost an ounce more in the box. So we're going to try them and see which one we like better. I bought a large amount of brown rice. I'm going to cook up a big batch and just keep it in the fridge so we can add it with meals, with meats and things if we're hungry, because we're going to need some calories. I bought nuts. Nuts are good. I like them. David doesn't love them, but they're a quick, easy snack. If I'm hungry, that'll satisfy me. Beans again, good choice, always good choice. Olives are great for most diets, Mediterranean diet, gluten-free diet, anti-inflammatory diet, so I bought a big thing of olives, plus it's garden season, so we'll be eating Greek salad, which needs good Kalamata olives. Okay, here's the good part. Anti-inflammatory diet recommends dark chocolate, so I picked up 2. They need to be 70% cacao or more, so I got the Lindt because it was on sale bars, and I got some Ghirardelli individual wrapped pieces, and you're recommended to eat an ounce of this per day. So actually that is, out of this bar, 3 pieces, 3 squares, which is a pretty good portion. That's probably more than I would normally eat at a time. I'm kind of happy about that. Another treat on the anti-inflammatory diet is red wine. We are prescribed red wine, 5 to 10 ounces a day, 5 for the smaller people, 10 for the larger people, but I'm excited that at least I have a couple treats every day. That's going to make life easier. Green tea is also anti-inflammatory, so I think what I'm going to do, since it's summer, is make a huge jug of iced green tea, because I like iced tea, and green tea is anti-inflammatory and it's recommended, so I'll have that on hand. And last but not least, a couple supplements. So turmeric contains curcumin, which is anti-inflammatory, allegedly. We'll find out if it does anything for us, but we'll add this in 1 per day and see. And then the other thing I picked up were some fish oil. And again, because we're trying to add omega-3s, increase our omega-3 to omega-6 balance in our body. And as you see, I bought tuna. I also bought salmon. It's already in the fridge. So I'm going to eat some fish. I don't need to take this every day. I think I'm going to take it 3 times a week just to kind of fill in the days that I don't eat the fish. Fish isn't my favorite, but I'm going to work on it and try and do it anyway. So that's kind of how things went. It took me an hour and 40 minutes round trip, and now I'm going to sort it out and figure out how I'm going to use it. And there'll be more coming. Thanks for joining us.